In the PowerPoint, we'll be looking at how insects are made up of different parts. There are more insects in our world than any other creature. What an amazing fact! Insects have a head with eyes, antennae and a mouth part. So let's have a look at the antennae. These are sometimes called feelers and are very flexible appendages located on the insect's head, which are used for sensing the environment. Insects are able to feel with their antennae because of all the fine hairs that cover them. Insects have compound eyes. This means their eyes are made of lots of tiny parts, almost like having lots of tiny eyes all joined together. Insects have 2 to 5 eyes. Some insects have only one type of eye and some have both types. The 2 types of eyes they have are compound and ocelli. The compound eyes are the most common type. Some adult insects have compound eyes are houseflies and honeybees. The ocelli are simple eyes. Wasps, for instance, have 3 and they are arranged in a triangle between their compound eyes. Dragonflies also have 2 compound eyes and 3 ocelli eyes. The compound eyes on a dragonfly are so big they make up about 70% of its head. Insects have 3 pairs of legs. Some insects are able to walk on the surface of water. 6 legs allow for locomotion, which means they can move easily, while maintaining a supportive tripod at all times. As mentioned before in a previous slide, insects have 2 antennae on their heads known as feelers, and they call this because insects wave them around. They are not only used for touch, but antennae are actually the insect's nose. They are used for the sense of smell. The paired antennae are made up of a number of individual joints. Insects are the only creatures without bones that can fly. Animals without a backbone or a bony skeleton are called invertebrates. 97% of all animals are invertebrates. So far, 1.25 million species, most of which are insects, have been discovered. One reason for the success of invertebrates is how quickly they reproduce. Insects are successful because they're so adaptable. They are opportunistic eaters, feeding on plants, animals and decaying organic material. They are able to survive in extreme environments, including very hot, dry habitats. They can fly to escape predators or find new sources of food, water and shelter. Most insects hatch from eggs. The eggs is the first stage in the life cycle of most insects. Eggs can be laid singly, in clusters or in specialist structures. Most all female insects are oviparous, meaning they lay eggs. Unlike animals who nurture and tend to their eggs carefully, insects do not display these behaviours. Eggs can come in different shapes: smooth, globular, rough and rigid. Some are transparent, others opaque. Certain insects can alter the colour of their eggs to fit in better with environmental factors. Insects don't have bones inside their bodies like we do. Can you remember what these are called? Instead, their skeleton is on the outside of their bodies. They have a head, a thorax with 6 legs and an abdomen where their tummy is. So let's have a look at the thorax. The thorax is one of the 3 main body parts of the insect. The thorax is the middle segment behind the head and before the abdomen. The 6 legs and 2 pairs of wings are attached to the thorax. The abdomen contains the heart, reproductive organs, midgut and other digestive organs. It's also where excretion and respiration takes place. Insects move about by walking, flying or sometimes swimming. Insects have been described as ideal miniature robots. Indeed, the way they move is extremely efficient. When moving, insects move 3 legs simultaneously. This is the tripod gait, so called because the insects always have 3 legs in contact with the ground, front and hind legs on one side of the body and middle leg on the opposite side. In the next few slides, let's see if you can recognise any of these insects whilst you're out on your daily walk or ones that you might find in your garden. Most insects live by themselves, but some insects like bees and ants are social and live in large groups. Most insects live on land, in fact about 97% do. Many insects spend all of their life on land. Some make their homes in trees like the weaver ant in Africa. Some make hives like honeybees. Wasps and hornets also make nests out of bits of wood and paper. Termites like to make burrows, which they live in large colonies, sometimes 1 million at a time. Some start their life in water, such as the caddisfly and the mayfly. Insects are important for keeping the flowers in our gardens healthy. Insects are crucial to many ecosystems where they perform many important functions. They aerate the soil, pollinate the flowers, and control insect and plant pests. As decomposers, insects help create topsoil, the nutrient-rich layer of soil that help plants grow. The 10 most beneficial garden insects are bees, which are essential for the life cycle of plant growth and important pollinators, ladybirds that feed on pests such as aphids, butterflies that feed on nectar and carry pollen to fertilize other plants, spiders that feed on mosquitoes, flies, ants and aphids, hoverflies that pollinate and control pests, shield bugs, these are little green bugs that you find in the garden, bee flies are pollinators, dragonflies are colourful acrobats with large wings that feed on pests, stag beetles, the daddy of the big beetles, they live in rotting wood, and ants that feed on aphids. Now have a look at the worksheets that have been uploaded to the website and also the video that I've included. Enjoy!